Good evening, ladies and gents. Welcome to the Toon review. It's Newcastle United 2, Brighton 1 match review. It's 8 games unbeaten. It's 3 straight home wins on the bounce. We are flying higher than an eagle at the minute.
True.
Part of it was a brilliant game. Well, not brilliant. I wouldn't say brilliant game. It was a brilliant day out yesterday. Really good laugh. And Brian Johnson, you are mental. But I love it. My God.
But he's amazing, though.
Character. Definitely. Alex, I haven't seen, obviously spoke to you since the match. I mean, it wasn't the greatest of spectacles by a long, long way yesterday. But again, it was all about getting the 3 points.
Yeah, no, definitely. We didn't play well and we won. So that's really important. And I love the humility of most of the lads and the manager have all come out and said, we didn't play very well. But wow, I think Fraser was probably the only one who can say he definitely played very well.
Mm-hmm.
Most of them didn't, but they've come out and they said we didn't play too well, but we fought, we worked hard, and we got the 3 points. So well done to the lads and for the manager for being honest and just hard working. It's great. It's great to see
the defending as well. I mean, you know, the times. I mean, we said after the game, Danielle, the times like that in the past, we would have folded, we would have conceded an equaliser, possibly a winning goal. But we didn't, and I think that's what people have to take a lot of pride from yesterday was the fact that we didn't buckle. We defended very well. We stayed positive. We stayed resolute, and it's good to see a Newcastle side in a way that doesn't play so well, but still gets a result. Danielle.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't pretty, but it was a great 3 points, and you're absolutely right. I think if we go back before Christmas, we might have come out of that with maybe a point or none. But don't get us wrong, the last 15 minutes was a bit nervy mind. I was a bit nervous for the last 15 minutes.
Just a bit.
But I think, you know what? I think St. James's Park just rose then, didn't it? The last 15 minutes, everybody was off their feet and just giving it everything for the lads. And just
it was a little quiet, I have to say, sort of first half. It was a little bit quiet compared to what it's been the last few games, and I think it was because maybe we were a little surprised that the team looked a bit flat in the first half yesterday. Second half, it was even worse, to be honest. But we battled through. AJ says, "Phew, bloody hell, Paul! I was beginning to worry about you, mate. Not been seen since or heard from since the match. I'm all right, matey." Gary says, "Evening, Paul. Evening, everyone. Hope you had a good day at the match and it went without a hitch." It did. Good hard earned 3 points yesterday. I think we need to rotate a few players next 3 matches. A few looked shattered. We will come on to that. Martin says, "Good evening. Max, is going to be a real tough 2 weeks coming up. 4 games with 3 of them away. How many points will we end up with, lads and lasses? Great support again." It's going to be interesting, that, and again we'll come on to that in the because we do have some games coming up thick and fast now. Chippers, the old Newcastle losers that game yesterday. Yep, undoubtedly.
Exactly what we just said.
Good evening, Majestic. Paul Sales, hello everyone. Nice to see you yesterday, matey.
Yeah, it was.
With, by the way, a gold and silver chain. It's something that B.A. Baracus would have been very proud of back in the day. The younger viewers, ask your parents. Pedro says, "Evening, guys and girls. Hope everyone is well." Geordie Bill's in the house. Trolls is in the house. Dark by Design says, "Not a good game, but a win's a win." George is in the house. Good evening, lads and lasses. Hope everyone is well. And of course, Danielle, you got to meet George yesterday.
I did. What a lovely man.
Yep. And I tell you something with George. He's a very, very well. He puts himself about. Put it that way. I mean, I was talking to Eddie yesterday from Tyneside Life and found out that George had done a bit of work for him. So I was a little, it's a very, very small world, indeed. If we get 3 points at Southampton, I will be amazed, says Dark by Design. You know what? Don't be amazed. Yes to right. Evening all. Good evening, Shira. We are going to do it, says Paul. Evening, lads. There's a lass on here as well. Don't forget. Although she's just one of the lads,
I am just one of the lads, really.
There. Gary says, "It was good to see the defence play well under sustained pressure. We'll have a few games like that against the big guns in the coming weeks."
Of course we will.
Joe Willock, Alex, he struggled yesterday. I don't know what it was. Again, I'm not taking anything away from his effort because he worked his ass off again. But something just wasn't clicking for Joe yesterday. And I thought Eddie might have brought him off a little earlier for Bruno. I was a little bit surprised about that.
I don't think he did anything wrong. I just don't think it was his fault. I'm gonna say something completely different tonight to what I've always said. The three in midfield tried really hard. Brighton are just really good. They didn't do anything wrong. Brighton have just got, if the fact that they've got Welbeck up front and they can't score, Brighton look really, really, really good. They were so technically good. I can't blame Willock. Shelby had a bit of a shocker, but he tried so hard. He wasn't on purpose. He wasn't making mistakes on purpose. Brighton were just really, really good. And they worked so hard. And I'm not going to blame them for it. They tried.
I don't think anybody's to blame. I think it was just there was more than one player had an off day yesterday, and but the difference is we got a result despite numerous players having off days. Listen, for me, Joelinton stood out again yesterday.
Oh, he was everywhere.
Everywhere. And I think everybody. I don't think people that weren't at the game saw enough of that. If you know what I mean, that watched it on TV. Joelinton for us yesterday. I mean, the crowd were just singing his name, singing the Joelinton song because he was everywhere again. Now, yes, did he do everything right? No, but he was all over the place. Back defending, he was left back, he was right back, he was centre back, he was just all over the place. And this new Joelinton that we're seeing is quite remarkable. It is just an incredible turnaround. And they put him on the right side yesterday when Fraser came off. And you know what? He still just wanted to sit back and defend. He didn't want to go forward. He wanted to play that position. But he was all over again, Danielle.
He was everywhere. His work rate was just amazing. You're chasing down every ball. He was everywhere. Like, I couldn't take my eyes off him. I was just like, he's just a brilliant, brilliant player. And he's got the heart and he's got the courage when he goes in. And I just think he's just, what a turnaround, like you say. Brilliant player, one of our best.
Mm-hmm. It's funny because I'm just laughing at Chris's comment there saying my friend who was a Southampton fan said that we shouldn't be playing our new players. I just laughed at her. Well, you know, given that the best one is injured in Kieran Trippier, you know, and Chris Wood isn't exactly pulling trees down. So it's not like we've got a brand new side here. This is a side that has been turned around by a very, very good coach. And his
it
team.
Kind of is in a way, though, isn't it? Because the way Howe's revolutionary, can't say it. Turned the team round. I'm going to say that instead. It's just amazing. They are like a different set of players. They're not new, but they're like a different set. Just brilliant to see.
It's the mindset as well, Alex, that's changed, isn't it? I mean, it is just yesterday on that field. You saw you didn't see them put their head down when things were going wrong. They still got on with it and they weren't arguing with each other. If anything. Every time a tackle was being made in defence, they were high-fiving each other. They were giving each other praise. And that's what it's all about. And that's the change that we've seen. Toon Dave, thanks for the £5 super chat. Come on, you beautiful Geordies. Here we rise. How are the lads? Winners a cup and up the Premier League we go. Thanks, matey. Very, very kind of you for the super chat. But yeah, Alex, it's just incredible to watch now. The actual determination, even when things aren't going particularly well.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, you saw Dan Burn made, all of his interceptions were ridiculous. Like, I don't want to talk about other centre backs in the squad, but the fact that he was there to make those, other people don't make those interceptions. People were just, there were mistakes that were causing us problems, but people were at least sorting it out at the final hurdle and we weren't conceding.
Yeah.
If somebody made a mistake, the other lads identified it and scraps to try and fix it, which is nice. They didn't all fall apart. And, you used the right phrase, heads dropping. So some of the other leaders, like new leaders like Burn, wasn't letting that happen. Big leg out, big stretched interception, big shout to everybody. Pay attention. Let's keep going. Just keeping everybody focused. And that back. I'm sorry, but wonky line. We don't have a wonky line anymore. Lamptey was played offside 3 times yesterday because we've got a beautiful offside trap.
You know what? It's funny you should say that, Alex, because I mentioned that to George and the guys that were sitting around. We had a chat about that. How nice it is to see Newcastle United play an offside trap, and an offside trap that continually works. I mean, Lamptey was getting frustrated time after time after time because he was pushing forward. And there's no doubt in my mind, he is going on to bigger and better things, Tariq Lamptey, very, very soon. He is a fantastic little player. Somebody I'd love to see at Newcastle. I think he will go on to, no disrespect to Brighton, but a big side. He will go to a big club. And he deserves it. But my God, he was frustrated as hell yesterday.
Yeah,
I mean,
he just kept quiet, definitely.
Yeah,
I mean, for context, he did 8 crosses against Villa. He only did 1 against us.
Mm-hmm.
So we did. The lads on that side did their job.
Their main threat was coming from the other side. Kukuracha or whatever his name is.
I just got the song in my head.
With the hair. What an amazing hairstyle. What a head of hair that guy has. But it was the danger was coming from there. And I think, to be fair, they were targeting Krafth more than they were Matty Targett. I don't think Matty Targett was particularly brilliant yesterday either. I think he gave the ball away a few times, as they all did. But it was the determination when they gave the ball away, Danielle, to get the ball back. But Emil Krafth, he just didn't quite get there yesterday. He was probably one of the poorer players, if I'm honest.
He was. The first 10 minutes, I think there was just 2 really bad balls from him, and I thought, oh no, we're not having another day. But it was, the Brighton were tough. And I knew they were going to be tough. So I'm just delighted that we didn't give up, and like you say, we didn't put our heads down, because we could have easily done it. It was good. It was just a weird atmosphere in the ground yesterday. It was just strange. It was. I can't say what it was, but it was amazing at the start, and then obviously when the goals went in, but then it was a bit weird, wasn't it?
I think it's because of the length of the streak. We're all kind of thinking,
hang on,
is it going to end now? Is it now?
There was a lot of nerves in that ground yesterday.
There was, mate.
Especially when it went to 2-1. I mean, you look at Brighton's goal and you have to say, Dubravka got it wrong. He came for the cross, got nowhere near it. Lewis Dunk was just head and shoulders above everybody else. It was a fantastic header, but it was misjudged by the goalkeeper. Also, I think somebody should have been.
He did have a runner. He did have a runner.
He did have a runner.
Know who it was?
Well, I believe it was. Was it? You can
see before I say it in the chat. You can put it in the chat, and then you can see if you got it right or not. It was. So Dunk's man was Chris Wood. Yeah,
it was. But listen, I mean, look, on Chris Wood, he set the first goal up. He set. I mean, saying he set the first goal up. I mean, he played Jacob Murphy through. A lot of players could have done that, but fair to him, he played him in. Jacob Murphy, for me, it was a poor finish. He should have just slotted that in.
Wood gets the assist if Murphy scores that. So
exactly, which I think would have given Chris Wood a lot of confidence, because if he'd have played that ball through, Jacob Murphy goes on and score. It's an assist. It's a part of a goal.
I mean, he can take some confidence from that anyway. That was a lovely move.
I think he's still part of the goal anyway, to be honest. But I think Jacob Murphy took too long. As we know, he one-on-ones he's not very good at. He proved that away at Watford when he should have won the game for us. But if it was to fall to the right man at the right time, little Ryan Fraser buried it. Absolutely buried it.
Played so well yesterday, Ryan Fraser.
God, this man has, again, like Joelinton, he's just completely changed the Newcastle United fans' feelings on him. I mean, he came off the pitch yesterday. He didn't have far to walk when he was substituted off, but he still got a standing ovation. And
he did.
He runs his heart out. He does not stop for 90 minutes or whatever minutes he's on the pitch. He does not stop. And if he's the epitome of what this club has become since Eddie Howe has took over, then it's fantastic, because he has had the turnaround of the century along with Joelinton. And the fact is, Fabian Schar gets the second goal. It's a beautifully curled in free kick. Schar gets the jump on his man at the near post. I thought the keeper had saved it initially, but everybody started jumping up and down. I didn't see the ball go in the net.
Well, it was a Fraser assist as well. He swung that in.
Yeah, it was.
He did, which is incredible. Frankie Norton, thanks for the £5 super chat. Another great result yesterday, Paul. We had to win ugly, but we did. Great channel, great contact to all of you. Keep up the good work. Cheers, Frankie, mate. Thank you so much. I mean, that's what impressed me the most yesterday. We won ugly. And we haven't done that now for, we've been incapable of doing that, Danielle, for so long. Just winning ugly when things aren't going well, because we're just, and I think that's what part of the atmosphere was about in that ground yesterday, was just a bag of nerves, because we've seen it happen so many times where we've got ourselves into fantastic positions in a match and we failed to capitalize on it, or we've been pegged back.
We're just closed down in the past, haven't we? And we've just thought, right, we've scored a goal. Let's just sit back and see if we can protect what we've got, and we just couldn't do it. Whereas now it's a completely different kind of ethos in the team. We never stop. We never stop trying to create.
Yeah.
And I loved it. I love it. But yeah, you're absolutely right. I think that's Eddie Howe, and that's what Eddie Howe's brought. It's not just the new players; it's the way we're playing. Attitudes. The never give up attitude's amazing. It all kind of, I know I spoke on the previous show about the jigsaw puzzle and about how it's like everything that's happening is like another piece and another piece. It's quite a big piece, really, the ethos and the work rate and everything that's gone in, through the coaching, and that's really shown. It's great to see, because in the past we'd go a goal up, or then there'd be an equaliser or a second goal for the other team, and would just all drop. Even the fans, their heads would go down, and we'd all thought, here we go again. But now, nobody thinks that. Now we're just, if somebody scores a goal like yesterday, I know we're 2-1 up rather than 1-1 up. But I never thought we'd lose the game. I never thought we would at all. So it was just, I don't want to equaliser, and I don't want to try and get them on the counter and then they counter us. But
good point. It's mad seeing it. It really is. It's crazy. Michael Marsden, thanks for the £20 super chat, buddy. Great to see you again yesterday. That man has strength beyond belief. I'm not going to go into that, but Jesus, he could be a bloody weightlifter.
He gives good cuddles as well.
Well, I wouldn't know about that. You get all the cuddles, Danielle. I tend to, cuddling's not my thing with other men. Andrew says, smashing feelings of weekends now. This is just the start. It's different, right, Alex, isn't it? We so many times on the weekend we have been ruined by Newcastle United over the past few years, and now, these 8 games without defeat. We've won our last 3 home games. The atmosphere coming out that ground again was unbelievable. People singing and chanting and just loving life, which was awesome to see. And I think it just goes to show how far this club can go. Mia, Dad, and Amanda at the ladies' match today. They just want to be part of this. For me, it's like they want to be part of the fans. They want to be, they want the fans to be part of this build as well.
Yeah, no, it's I've been careful about saying, a lot of people keep throwing the word special and there's something special happening, and I've been reluctant to sort of jump on that bandwagon prematurely. But yesterday, it seems like the players and staff are all starting to, Fraser's interview about how that's why I joined the club. It's one of the best grounds in the world. This is why I'm here. The team photos after the wins, they are starting to. It's all starting to come together. Even if we lose some games and the run ends, fair enough. It is going to happen at some point. But people are starting to understand. And it's not just that, it's the fact that we've got that connection that we never used to have under different owners or different management. We've got so much social media content from the club, and so much, we're actually part of the journey with the players and with the team. We're part of the story, and it's great. And they can sense it, we can sense it, the staff are involved. It's just great. It's what I've been jealous of looking at other football clubs, fan bases and online communities. We just haven't had it, and it's here, and this shows how great our club is. We've been able to generate this in less than 6 months,
without a doubt.
It's crazy.
I'd just like to say as well, yesterday before the game, how fantastic that applause was for the Ukraine. It was spine tingling, if you like. It was incredible. I mean, it did bring a lump to your throat. Before the referee had even blown his whistle, everybody was up and cheering and clapping. It was incredible. I thought it went on for a lot longer than a minute, which was great. It seemed to go on for a long time, and I think the referee added a lot more than 1 minute to that
on TV. The camera panned to the ref because he was like,
he kept looking at his watch, and I kind of got that feeling, but it was just incredible. The whole ground together as one, Brighton fans, Newcastle fans, football fans, just, so touching moment, and it really was incredible. Ken says, very hard game yesterday. Nice to see a new steely resolve. Don't think we've seen anything like that for an awful long time. And he's right there, isn't he, Danielle? Ken saying about the resolve, and that's what came from, yesterday. We're not saying, brilliant performance, excellent, we were brilliant. It was a steely resolve, and that's something we haven't seen with this team.
No, and we battled. We had to battle for the full 90 minutes because Brighton pushed her. They played so well. They were better on the ball than we were. It was. That's why it was a little bit uncomfortable because I was thinking, oh God, like any minute now something's going to happen. But the time seemed to fly, mind, because I remember looking at the clock and it was 25 minutes in. I thought, where's that time gone? Like,
it didn't half slow down when Brighton scored, though.
I know it did.
Jesus Christ. Now, Bruno came on, Alex, and I think he came on a little bit late for me. But
same.
That bloke gave me a heart attack towards the end of the game. When I don't know how he stayed so calm, right? But he just looked like he was in control all the time. He took it, he got it in our box, and we were all saying, clear it. He held onto it, and eventually he went down and won the foul. Now, that could have gone one of two ways. That could have gone as in the referee didn't see it as a push, and they got an equaliser. But unfortunately for us, he gave a foul. It was just an incredible moment of calmness from him.
Mm-hmm. Everyone in the crowd wasn't calm.
But not from us.
That's one way of saying it, yeah. I mean, I'm not a professional footballer. If he wants to make that, if he's got to make the decisions, he's going to make his decisions. That's up to him. But I mean, at the risk of being crucified, my real-time comments were, Mike Williamson, please don't do that again. That was shades of Mike Williamson. Stop messing around with it in the box, please. Because it's not what the rest of the lads do. Just get rid of it. I know you're Brazilian. I know you're incredible, and you're probably one of the most technically gifted footballers at the club. But please don't do that when there's 2 points to lose. Please just kick it away. Honestly, I couldn't handle that. I really couldn't.
I mean, but he did it another time as well, just outside the 18-yard box. And he actually created a breakaway at the end of the day for ASM. My God, I mean, he just gets the ball, and it's just, there's no panic in him. It doesn't matter if it's the last 30 seconds and we're just telling him to belt the ball. But I think Eddie Howe might have had a little word in his ear after the game yesterday.
The danger is that the rest of the lads aren't on that wavelength right now as well.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So the other lads aren't doing that.
Jesus Christ, it was unbelievable. Dave says, evening, lads and lass. A great win over Chuck Norris's Brighton side. We're now in the top half of the bottom half of the table. Can see a top 10 finish at this rate. Long may it continue. Ian says, evening, Paul, Danielle and Alex. Great result, not great performance. Think it's time for Bruno to come in now. Ryan says, if Brighton had a better attack, I think we would have lost the game. Potter has taken that team far enough. And would need better players to go to the next level. I did say actually yesterday, and I did say after the game, if Brighton had had an out-and-out striker, I think they'd be a lot. I'm not saying that they would have won yesterday. What I'm saying is they'd be a lot higher up the table. Because they pass the ball around brilliantly. They work hard for Graham Potter. Nobody can say that I thought maybe they deserved something out of that game yesterday, possibly a point. I'm not saying they should have won the game, but they should have maybe got a point. If I'm being openly honest, as a football fan, Brighton were the better team. But yeah, exactly. We showed the steely resolve that we needed to come away with the 3 points, and it was wonderful. But Brighton will be disappointed, and I think that's been their problem for a lot of years now. That they don't have this out and out striker who can get them 15, 20 goals a season to move them up the league, and I think that's what they need to certainly look at in the future,
though, isn't it? I mean, with Dan Ashworth, and you can see how technically gifted all of their players are, but that lethal finishing at Premier League level is rare. It's hard to just go and fish out of you know. So even with the incredible recruitment that they've done and how great they look on the ball, you know, that finding that striker is not simple.
Yeah,
as we've also found out.
We found out. Yep, definitely. Brighton kept the ball so well. Away to Chelsea, 52%. Home to City, 48%. Stats are unheard of. Hi, Paul, Danielle, and Alex. Good evening. Hull didn't click. We were losing all the second. I think he means Howe didn't click. We were losing all the second balls. Carlos says Shelvey looked tired yesterday. Dan Burn and Fraser, man of the match. Look, Shelvey for me. I mean, again, he does this kind of. He looks like he's been a bit lazy at times, but he's not. It's just the way he is. I thought he did look a bit tired yesterday, Danielle. He looked a bit
He looked shattered.
But he looked frustrated as well. You know, certain passes weren't going his way, and he did get a bit frustrated. But you know, listen, they're going to be tired. They've put in a hell of a shift for the last 6-7 weeks. Now is a time where, again, over the next few games, Danielle, is going to be where Eddie Howe is tested on his team selection, because he will have to rotate because the games are coming thick and fast now.
Yeah, I think that's a plan, and I think that's why. In terms of Bruno, why he's been kind of putting him on for a bit. And I was expecting, like you, to see a bit more of him yesterday. I was thinking maybe second half I might see him quite early on, which is why I was surprised, really, that we didn't. But yeah, I mean, the amount of games we've got coming up in succession over the next 2 weeks, we're going to have to rotate the squad. So I think we will see Bruno start a game. And I think Shelvey needs a rest. Bless him, he looked absolutely shattered. So,
I think,
yeah. Hopefully, we'll see Bruno.
It could be Shelvey that maybe comes out
a little bit.
Yeah, I can see Shelvey coming out.
Jacob Murphy as well. Yeah, I think we need a bit of rotation, but it was good to see ESM back yesterday.
Yep. Majestic says, when Big Joe won the ball back in our box yesterday, God almighty, the roar on the ground then was unbelievable. Just going through. Steve says midfield had heavy legs because they've been working so hard the last few weeks. Maybe time to rotate a bit more.
Agree.
Yep.
I disagree with all of you on this. I really do.
Right. How?
Heavily.
That's unlike you, Alex.
I know.
I mean, I could be wrong, but this is just how it looks from my perspective in terms of like training cycles and how long it takes players to peak. Because this has been planned from the Saudi Arabia camp, this whole fitness.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't feel like this is the start of the drop-off of fitness. I don't feel like we're there yet, because Shelvey only peaked like 10 days ago, as did Fraser. I don't feel like this is the drop-off yet. I feel like there's more to come. I feel like it was more Brighton and the possession and how good they were that made our lads tired. I don't think that this is the start of the lads that's tired because of the long run. I mean, that's just my take on it. I personally feel like
that's fine.
It was more Brighton, and I think the lads are still going to be okay. I think they've still got the legs.
You might be right, Alex.
More just Brighton.
Well, the thing is, I mean, you look at it another way. You're right. I mean, Brighton were one of them teams that would pass you to death. And maybe that new steely resolve is something that we talk about more now, because it's blatantly there in front of us that, you know, other teams previous, you know, early part of the season, to be fair, were passing around us and they were passing us to exhaustion and we lose the game. Now we have that extra fitness level there, and we've got that bit of resolve and a bit of grip between the teeth.
Game with our previous fitness levels.
Well, we would have got hammered, to be honest. Yeah. Ryan says, when Murphy came off, it seemed like no one knew who was marking Cucaracha. Well, I call him Cucaracha, and I know who you mean, though. And every time he had the ball, I was shitting myself. So many times in that game yesterday, Emil Krafth, for me, was doing what he normally does, and that's get sucked in towards the central defenders, and he doesn't realise who's behind him. He forgets about the winger, and he did it numerous times yesterday. And that is something that Trippier doesn't do. Manquillo certainly doesn't do either. They're very aware of what's behind them. Emil Krafth sometimes just goes walkabout, and I don't know what it is, but he just gets sucked in towards where all the action is in the middle and forgets where he's supposed to be playing. I mean, I don't know about you guys. I mean, look, I'm trying not to be too harsh on Emil Krafth because we're on a good run here. But you know what? We need to try and improve the little bits
do you
where
mean
we need
backwards or
improvement.
forwards with him getting sucked in? Which way do you mean?
Well, sideways, coming towards the central defenders. When the ball's in the middle of the park, he gets sucked in. So they can easily then play a ball out wide. And Emil Krafth's nowhere to be seen.
There. You're right. I agree with you 100%. Twice I said out loud yesterday that, to him, you're not playing centre-back. You're not playing centre-back in a back three. He backpedals back into, he moves, he sort of allows them space to run into, whereas Trippier plays as a right back in a back four and pushes them to the wing, whereas Krafth gives them a bit of space. No, 100%, I agree. The stats make Krafth look good because he did a lot of blocks, a lot of clearances, a few interceptions, and it looks very good on paper, but there's a reason why they were bombing down their left side, Krafth side, the whole match. There's a reason they did that.
Yeah, exactly. Targeted. Yeah. Michael Marsden this evening. Obviously, we've already spoke because of the super chat. You're taking the P, man, and I know you're taking the P because of what was
He's
said.
A cheeky monkey.
Yeah, I know for a fact you didn't think Krafth was man of the match.
No, another long ball. He's on 2 long balls in the last year now. He's hit 2.
Wow, amazing. Julie says Billy Trade did a great watch along, but I did miss my salmon, nuns in brothels, and Auntie's lingerie. Well, they'll all be back on Thursday because I will be doing a live commentary of the game in Southampton on Thursday night. Do not miss it, guys. It's going to be fun. Can't wait for that. By the way, guys, if you are enjoying tonight's show, as usual, please do hit the like button for us. And if you're new to the channel and you like what you see, please do consider subscribing. Subscribers are on the up again, people. So we are heading towards that big 10K. So it'll be fantastic to get there. We will obviously do something special for 10K. I don't know what yet, but we will find out. We will do something for that. But thank you very much. You can become a member of the Toon Review as well if you hit the join button just underneath this video, or it is linked in the description below. You can also donate to the channel like a few wonderful people have already tonight by hitting that $sign at the bottom of the live comments. And massive, massive shout out to Geordie Riffs. Yes, I've remembered to put the new one up, Graham. Premium guitar lessons for beginners and children, guitar repairs and servicing, in which they're offering 10% off your first one of each, and a guitar lesson free of charge if you mention the Toon Review. And they do have their own, of course, recording studio. You can find them on the web at geordieriffs.co.uk. Down below in the description, just click on that. They're on Instagram at Geordie Riffs and Facebook at Geordie Riffs Official. So thank you to Graham and Natalie for their continued support of their channel. Check them out if you're into your guitars. Rocco says, whatever Howe is feeding Fraser, can I have some?
Listen, he never stops, does he?
I think Joelinton's getting about 7 raw chickens a day. I don't know about you guys, but I just love his new enthusiasm and his anger. I mean, the way he just wants to kill somebody on the pitch now. He doesn't care. If somebody gives him a bit of jip, he goes and grabs them. I mean, he's very careful in what he does because he doesn't go to the point where he's going to get sent off for violent conduct. But he'll get a booking here and there. But it's just to say, look, I'm here. Do not mess around with the big J7.
He's terrifying, isn't he? Red mist descends.
It's brilliant, though. I love it.
The eyes go, the eyebrows go up, and he just, whoever the player is, Christ, it's
awaken the beast.
Listen, he is a beast. Gary says, Billy did, Julie, you had me on the edge of my seat. Keith said, pleased to introduce my mate to you, Chris Wilder lookalike. Oh, my God. Listen, Keith, I'm not kidding.
He was a spit.
It just unbelievable. I mean, he could be Chris Wilder. Keith came and said hello to us yesterday, and Chris Wilder was with him. His mate, just the absolute spit and double of Chris Wilder. And, listen, for me, he walked into that ground yesterday. There would have been loads of people looking, saying, what's the Middlesbrough manager doing here? If they didn't have a game yesterday, it was unbelievable. It was freaky, really freaky. But good to see you again, Keith. Good banter as usual. Good to see Schar get a goal, bullet header. What did you make of Schar yesterday, Alex? I mean, his stats-wise, were they up there yesterday?
He wasn't incredible. He had a bit of a wobbly a wobbly time early on, few misplaced passes, long balls, but I think every one of our lads got robbed or made a skew pass.
Yeah.
So it's not, it's nobody specifically, but he statistically he was all right. Four aerial duels. He won all 3 of his ground duels. 3 out of the 9 long balls. Not quite. We just didn't have enough of the ball for people to be putting up the numbers they've been doing recently. But again, you can see that Burns the defender and Schar is the ball playing centre back. You can see that we literally have a real centre back pairing, and he's the one that tries to play the long balls and attacks a bit more. It really is funny though. I do find it amusing that Lascelles and Schar are having quite a lot of luck off set pieces, and Burns fairly well. Although he did get his head on one, he was very unfortunate.
He did.
Yeah,
but Schar, I
feel
feel,
the back post there in the first half, didn't he?
But Schar specifically, I do want to say this because I've said this 3 weeks in a row. Everybody, I love Dan Burn, but everybody is all Dan Burn, Dan Burn, Dan Burn. I feel like Fabian Schar needs equal amounts of love for how great he's playing at the moment. He's playing, he wants to stay, he's scoring, he's assisting, he's playing.
Alex, I'm sure there's plenty ladies out there that want to give Fabian Schar plenty of love. That's not from me, that's from ladies around me who I believe think that Fabian Schar is quite a handsome man. But you're right, and
they're both great. They both deserve
they've got a really, really good partnership going on, and something that we can look forward to probably now for, hopefully, fingers crossed, the rest of the season. Lascelles is look, it's his own fault because he is not up to the level that those two have shown. Certainly this season. But
I think he was unfortunate to miss through illness. That's not his fault, I guess. But
no, but if these are the chances that you have to take as a player coming into the team. If you're given the opportunity, you grasp it with both hands, and that's exactly what Dan Burn and Schar have done. And can I just say, we are the invincibles of 2022 so far. I'd just like to say that we are unbeaten since the 19th of December.
Class.
Oh, it's incredible. Christopher has just watched Roy Keane's rant after Man United's humping at City. I bet they wish they had that kind of passion in their current team. I don't care about Man United. Do you want to talk about Man United? Go and watch John Sinclair. Asif says, it's madness when people were saying we were going to leak goals due to Eddie Howe's style because of what happened at Bournemouth when he was there. Shows how far Eddie Howe has developed and is great. Listen, Eddie Howe.
He's the best.
He's just, look, he didn't have the same kind of, I don't know, the Bournemouth is certainly not the same financial structure that you've got at somewhere like Newcastle, certainly now. And let's face it, what he did for Bournemouth was nothing short of a miracle. Taking that small little club who were miles behind at the bottom of the Football League to the Premier League. And just because they conceded a few goals and got at one relegation, they seemed to turn that was Eddie Howe's, certainly pundit-wise, that was Eddie Howe's final part from Bournemouth was the relegation, not the promotions, not where he took the club from and where he got it to. You have to remember that Eddie Howe has also done a lot of work with a lot of people behind the scenes while he hasn't been employed, because he knew he was going to come back into a job at some point, and wanted to take as much on board as he could to take that into his new job. And luckily for us, it's Newcastle United that are going to get the benefits of that, Alex, because he is just a workhorse.
I mean, he's a brave man. I tell you what, it was a very good game yesterday in terms of the two managers and the tactics, because I think Potter got it spot on. Like, he's a cracking manager. Most of us predicted the wrong lineups, the wrong formations for Brighton. They surprised me. They surprised a lot of people. Basuma out, completely flipped, had it Lamptey up right wing, and but he matched us up 4-3-3. It was false 9, but it was still a 4-3-3. He matched us up, and they were better on the ball than us. But Howe, the thing I really like about Howe is if you take 1,000 neutral fans and make them manage that game, they give us a back five most of the time. Or they change to a back five at some point in the game because of how scary Brighton were at times. And Howe didn't do that. He was like, nope, we're staying 4-3-3. This is how we play. Come on, lads, keep going. I'll make my subs, keep trying hard. And he stuck to his principles and he stuck to the system, stuck to the instructions to a degree, tweaked it when needed. But they're both very brave, very talented managers. And it's really, really, really nice to see.
Yeah. Richard says Woods marking when Dunk scored, he just stopped for no reason halfway and let Dunk go free. Look, I mean, the one thing I don't understand about Chris Wood's game is these balls that get played up to him long. He doesn't. I mean, at least 8 out of 10 times he doesn't jump for a header.
He didn't try.
He just doesn't seem to want to win the ball, and I find that staggering. But listen, you know, I'm not gonna turn this into the Chris Wood slagging show again. They were all part of a team yesterday who didn't particularly play well, but won a football match and won another 3 points for my team. So therefore, you know, they're all in it together, and that's how we should see it from now on for the running. Now Maxi came on, Danielle, and he was. I mean, he got such a welcome when he came on, and
it was outstanding, mine, wasn't it?
Yeah, with the hundreds of bandages again. I mean, you couldn't see any part of his skin for bandages, and you know what? He just looks like the mummy, and he comes running on, and but I think at that point of the game, we needed that outlet. We needed Maxi just to get a hold of the ball and run with it, and he did exactly that. Now there was a couple of opportunities that he could have done better with his final delivery. There is no doubt about that. People around me noticed that. There was a couple of chances to really play some people in yesterday, and he didn't. However, on the plus point of Maxi's game yesterday, when we were under pressure so many times in the back end of that second half, what was needed was for Maxi just to pick up the ball, run with it, and run with it, and run with it. And he did. And he did exactly that. And it took the pressure off the defenders. So that side of Maxi's game, I didn't have a problem with yesterday. I think he came on at a time when he was needed just to take that pressure off the defense.
Is it me or Danielle?
Somebody just answer.
I thought you were directing at Danielle. That's why I stayed quiet. Sorry.
Well, I was.
Yeah,
but she seems to have gone to sleep.
No, yeah, it's he did exactly as you've described. It wasn't. I think she's maybe having internet issues.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, he took the pressure off. I don't even care about the opportunities. He tried. He did as instructed.
Mm-hmm.
He did as instructed. He tried to release the pressure. Because Brighton had so much control, they were strangling us. It was becoming a massive problem.
Mm-hmm.
And he does what Almiron wouldn't have done if he came on, or any other wingers we've got at the club. Even Fraser can't do what Maxi does in that regard. Nobody can.
Yeah, because they would have lost those kind of runs that Maxi goes on. He is the only one there that can do those runs and still come out of it with the football at his feet.
Exactly.
It's just bizarre sometimes.
An interesting stat for people about Maxi: we completed 2 dribbles the entire match. They were both Maxi's. He was the only person to do to complete dribbles, because Murphy's didn't count because he missed. He hit the post, and none of them got logged properly as completed dribbles. So Maxi got the only 2 completed dribbles of that match for us. And yeah, he just relieves pressure. And I do feel slightly sorry for him. We were critical of him not finding people, but I feel like, again, if you put Wilson in Wood's place for a lot of those opportunities for his cutbacks, I do feel like Maxi would get a lot more credit, because he often doesn't have quite a lot to pass to. Willock's often quite far wide or not on the pitch anymore. And Wood's not quite there. It's not Wood's game, unfortunately. It's not Wood's fault. That's just, they just don't play the same way.
It's clear that we're not playing the right way for Chris Wood. I mean, but I'm just disappointed when the ball does come into the box, though, Alex. He just seems very reluctant to get on the end of them. I mean, there was once I thought he might yesterday. He was just behind the Brighton goalkeeper in the second half. And I think it was Maxi floated one to the back post. And I thought the goalkeeper was going to miss it and landed on Chris Wood's head. But unfortunately, it didn't happen. But I'd just like to see him, just go a bit more in the box, be a bit more, cause a few more problems in the box.
Yeah, he's a funny one because he played a little bit better yesterday, but in areas I wasn't expecting. He looked a little bit fitter, actually. He looked sharper. I'm not sure. I can't remember if it was him or Ashley Barnes that was injured prior to the move in January. Maybe he was injured. I need to double check that, but he did look a lot fitter yesterday, especially in the first half an hour. He had more energy. He was faster. He wasn't turning as slowly. And again, his body positioning and his sprint to release Murphy. There was some good stuff. Yes. Well, it wasn't yesterday. Whenever it was, I can't remember. It was yesterday. Sorry, days all mixing into one. But again, the reason we bought him wasn't quite just for that. We would prefer him to do a bit more with his size and with his head, whether it's goal threat or whether it's to hold the ball up for pressure.
Yeah.
Because we can't keep saying he occupies defenders. We can't. That's not gonna fly. How many weeks is that gonna fly for? But he did have a much better performance yesterday. I loved the position to release Murphy. That was great, and I liked his improvement in his fitness. But again, another interesting statistic for people that think his aerials are incredible. Danny Welbeck got one more aerial duels than Chris Wood against Brighton, so that was interesting. Welbeck got, I think, 8. Yeah, he got 8. And Chris Wood, I think, got 6. So,
and isn't Danny Welbeck a player who's had 2 hip replacements, 2 knee replacements, 2 shoulder replacements, elbow replacements, every bone in his body replaced?
Well, I think he got subbed off as well, so he didn't actually even play the full 90 and got more.
He should have scored first half. To be honest, he should have put one in. It came off the Krafth's head or shoulder, I think, but
came off some part of him.
Yeah, he should have done better. Andrew says, I did say we'd go the rest of the season unbeaten. 1 game closer. Haha. Yes, Andrew. And you did also say 7-0 yesterday, but we'll not talk about that. ASM definitely gave us an outlet when he came on, but I thought his final decision-making was poor. Yeah, well, I'm trying to focus on the positives, Matthew, because, we need to, because we haven't played very well yesterday. And I think everybody realizes we haven't played very well yesterday. But the bottom line is we've come away with another win. And that's the only thing that counts at this part of this time of the season. James says it feels nice to be looking up rather than behind, definitely. Howe is performing miracles at this football club, including turning Krafth into a decent player, seemingly. He was excellent yesterday, says Christopher. Okay. Again, people have... This is the beauty about it, though. The different opinions of people who sort of see different players and things like that. I was watching Krafth very carefully yesterday, certainly second half, and when he was at sort of... defending the Leazers, it was. I just think he needs to be more aware of what's around him, and if he just seems to switch off that concentration for a few seconds, and it costs him because he gets found out a few times. Apparently, we're second in the league this calendar year. Jesus, Eddie Howe has proved me wrong. I thought he couldn't get out of the relegation. He couldn't get us out of the relegation zone. Well, there you go. Would love to beat Southampton, draw Chelsea, and beat Everton. I mean, I just want to beat Southampton on Thursday just to stick one up Ralph Hassan. Hoodle.
Can you imagine the post-match interview?
Oh,
we need all of our new signings to score.
Oh, it'll just be the salt.
We need Burn, Bruno.
Yeah, I'll just run on with a steak and say, "You want some salt on that, boy?" Huh? Because he's going to come out with the usual, had we played these at the red time, we would have won the game and just complain constantly. So we know he's going to do that. Probably before the game, he'll mention it. I don't think these should start the new players. It's very unfair on us. Yeah. But we know for a fact that he'll complain at some point. So I do hope we beat Southampton. Chelsea, for me, either or. I mean, it depends what Chelsea turn up as to what.
Exactly.
But listen, we're playing a lot better. You never know. But Stamford Bridge hasn't exactly been a wonderful place for us, apart from a couple of occasions that I can think of when Cisse scored incredible goals. Amiobi scored one. Things haven't gone so well, but you never know. And as for Everton, that is a club very close to my heart, as many of my subscribers will know. I absolutely hate the Feckers, and I hope we destroy them. So, at least 6 points out of the 3 games will do me quite fine. Just to put one over Hassel, Huddle, and the Skip Rats. So there you go. So impressed with the turnaround of the team, but I am concerned of our run from April to the end of the season. Very tough run in to end of season, aside from Palace, Norwich, and Burnley. Alex, I think there's teams with harder run-ins than us, though.
Yeah, we're fine. I mean, the 3 teams you've just mentioned, if we beat those 3, then we're fine. So It's really not a problem. We can literally hit, I'd probably say, similar form to the start of the season, and we still stay up. I feel like we could have a big cluster of losses and draws, and we'd still be fine. Purely just because of that gap. The teams under us would have to just pull something miraculous out the bag and go on a 5 or 6 win streak, like we've done, such as like Norwich or Watford. It's just really unlikely. The estimated points for the end of the season is still going to be somewhere around the 36 mark. Some people are saying 38, but I still think it's probably a little bit less than that. And we're on 28, so we need 8 points or 10 points. We got a lot of fixtures
win our next
left.
3 games, Southampton,
like Brighton,
Everton.
we don't even need to play well. If we can get draws or wins, even on poor days, we just need 8 or 9 points. So it's fully in our hands now. Definitely,
without a doubt, which is incredible, because a few weeks ago we couldn't say that. We were like relying on other teams to lose. George, thank you so much, mate, for the £10 super chat. Great to meet everyone on Saturday, and a great 3 points. P.S. Paul, bruises are going down now. I may have manhandled George a couple of times yesterday when we scored. You know how Dave used to...
time?
Well, you know how Dave used to tap me on the shoulder, Danielle?
Yeah.
You know, I just tried to reciprocate that with George yesterday, but realizing that my little sort of pats on the shoulders may have been a lot more powerful than what George has been used to. So, I do apologize for that, George.
Fraser.
And well, listen, he goes missing when we score. I don't know where he goes. We score and he's away down the bloody aisle somewhere. So I never get to do anything with him when we score. He's, you know, for an older man, that boy can gymnastic his way across the aisle when we score. I'm telling you. Malcolm says, good morning from New Zealand. Hard fought win, passion from players and fans. Fantastic. And Thomas is right there. The applause was not about politics. It was about compassion. Indeed.
Absolutely.
100%. Stanley says, what did you think about the report from before the game going on about the Saudis being involved in the war in Yemen? We're not going to get into that because that's all politics and we don't talk about politics on this show. That's for, yes, my name is Boris. Yes. And go to work. Don't go to work, but go to work. That's for him to decide. Not us. Bruno in for Shelby could help us dictate the tempo against Southampton, who love to press high. Shout out to Liverpool fans singing "You'll Never Walk Alone" for the Ukraine. Yes, that was a lovely touching moment again.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which, to be fair, the Liverpool fans, to sing. I mean, that's it's their song, and it was incredible to hear that. Fair play to Brighton wearing the 3rd kit in support of Ukraine. Indeed, they did. Fantastic gesture from them as well. Paul Merson has now turned 180 degrees on Howe. What's your say?
What's he been saying?
Well, apparently he's supporting him now, but I haven't heard him say anything. So, unfortunately, for me, Paul Merson is still a monumental bell end. I don't know whether you guys have heard anything from him, but
I couldn't agree more.
I'm not sure what the turnaround comments are. I'll have to go and have a look, but I just don't think he does any research before he says things. I think that's his problem. I think he watches matches that he's paid to watch, and he watches matches that he wants to watch, and then I don't think he quite does enough digging before he says certain things, potentially. And football's moved on a lot from when it's just moved on a lot, and you need to know what you're talking about. You need to have a little look before you start saying certain things, especially when it comes to transfers. And it's just he probably could give good takes if he tried a bit more, I'd imagine. I don't know.
Yep. How many points for safety now? Well, we've just said there, possibly 36, 38. I think we'll get... listen, I'm not even worried about relegation anymore. I'm really not.
It. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm way over. Ryan says ASM was yet again overthinking every counter-attack and giving the ball away. He did give the ball away a few times, but I think at the time, like we said earlier, Ryan, that we needed that. Just get the ball, run with it. Just that explosion of pace, it did come in handy for us yesterday. I thought there was once, however, Bruno could have found him a little bit earlier, and he was simply clean through. If Bruno had played the ball through, but unfortunately he held it back a little bit too long. Then he played him in, but there was already a defender getting back. But had he played it first time, But Bruno just looks like he gets the ball and he's just like floating around like a feather. He doesn't care who's around him. He does what he wants to do. It'll be very interesting to see when he does eventually start what kind of impact he has on the game. AS Games say, hey, Newcastle fan here from Norway, travelling to Newcastle for the Leicester match for the first time being in the UK. Can't wait. You'll absolutely love it, mate.
Love it.
Yeah. John says, apologies for butting in on your conversation yesterday, but I thought I'd take the opportunity to say hello and praise you on the channel. John, you're very kind. Thank you very much for doing that yesterday. It was really good to meet you. Paul says, big improvement all around, especially Joelinton, Fraser and Willock. Shelby also playing better. Might avoid relegation now. Might, Paul? Really?
I think we will. Definitely will.
I think there's 3 teams, Danielle, well worse than us.
I think Norwich are gone. I think Watford, don't think they've got it.
Bad result for Burnley yesterday as well. Obviously, Chelsea humping them just to knock them down a peg or two as well.
Yeah. But I don't really pay much attention to what they're doing, really, because we're doing so well. But I don't know. I think Burnley might get out of it. But I'm hoping that the swap with Everton and Everton.
Yeah, I think we've got games in hand on quite a few of them around us as well.
Yeah, there's still a few games to catch up on, isn't there? Which is why these next couple of Thursday night games are big for us because obviously, that puts us on an even keel then. Jonah on the radio says, good evening. I think in a way, we have made teams look bad recently. Brighton did that to us, but we dug in. Yeah, I can agree with that. Listen, we're not going to be at the races every single game, and I think we have to accept that. Any football team loses and doesn't turn up once in a while, and even the Man Cities of the world do this. But it's what you do it's how you react when you're not playing particularly well, and you don't drop your heads and you think, oh God, things aren't going right for us here. We got those 2 goals in 2 minutes yesterday. It set us up for the rest of the game. It should have been 3 because Jacob Murphy, when Lewis Dunk slipped over, Murphy was in. Now, either side of the goalkeeper, it's 3-0, or just played across to Ryan Fraser, it's 3-0. Fraser,
yeah. That's what we were saying.
It was a very, very poor finish on his left foot.
Fraser was livid.
He was livid. He wasn't happy at all. But listen, it happens. Now, that could have put the game to bed. It didn't. We nearly, I said at the time, I hope that doesn't come back and bite us in the ass. It nearly did, but it didn't. And that's the main thing out of yesterday. How many ground duels did Wood win yesterday?
Wood? Where did I write Wood down?
I
know. It's because I always mention it, don't I? He won 1 out of 4 and 6 out of 16 aerials. So,
see, 6 out of 16. It's not good enough for me for the position he plays and for the build of the man. The height and build, he should be winning a lot more than that. I know he goes up against very good central defenders who are sizable defenders as well. But, it's the fact that he doesn't jump for most of these challenges is the frustrating thing. That he doesn't get up above and win the aerial duels. I think we're all underestimating how good Schar has looked under Howe. Well, I'm certainly not. Nobody on here is. We're allowed 1 baddish game. Let's keep cracking on with these precious points. Indeed,
I don't think it was a bad game. Honestly, people keep saying that. Brighton were just really good. I don't think we were bad. Brighton were just so good.
No, I don't think we were at the races, Alex. To be honest, mate. Again, I mean, I'm sitting in the ground watching it. I don't know if it's any different, to watching it on TV. But I think there was a few of our lot not at the races yesterday. But it's not to say that the difference is here is even though we weren't at the races, the effort levels were still magnificent.
Of course.
And each player, whether they had a good game or not, put in 110%. I couldn't say that one player was being lazy yesterday. Some players didn't have the greatest of games.
Yeah, but it wasn't laziness. I feel like it was just technical. Like, for example, Shelby got robbed in the middle by Lamptey. He got nutmegged. Joelinton got robbed once. Willock was getting robbed. They weren't doing anything specifically wrong. It wasn't because they were being lazy and they weren't checking angles. They just Brighton were just quite good technically. This is what I mean. If we've got Ashworth, I don't want to say anything, but this is a good sort of sneak preview to what it looks like when a team's built right. They were good technically all over the pitch. They could swap around and rotate and pass and press. We're not there yet. We will buy new players and we will try and make sure that every person is good on the ball and knows the job at the moment. But the lads who we've got are doing incredible. But that just you can just see the difference sort of technically. They're all so good on the ball. I mean, yeah, they messed up. They messed up positionally. That's why Murphy got through and we scored. They're not great, but they are very, very gifted footballers on the ball. And you could see that because Shelvey, I mean, to be fair to Shelvey, I think he's an absolute legend for coming out and apologising. He does not need to apologise, but the fact that he had the humility to come out and say, I didn't have a great game. His ego's gone. I don't know where it's gone, but he's grown up so much. The fact that he's come out and
done that,
identified that it wasn't great and he's going to try. I love that. So well done, John Joe. That's amazing.
Well done, John Joe.
Yeah. Michael makes a good point here. Despite all the Brighton domination of the ball, they created very little. It wasn't like they missed a lot of chances, and Dubs was not really worked. Better chances fell to us. They didn't really force, into a lot of saves. For Dubravka, there was a few shots went high and wide, and the one from Welbeck, obviously in the first half, which Dubravka did what he had to do and get something on it, whether it was his face, his shoulder, or whatever, just to save the ball. Dean clearly isn't a fan of Chris Wood. Our team is tired due to carrying driftwood since January. That's his opinion. P.S. I wish I wore a coat yesterday. Jesus, it was freezing, but the result made it way better. I thought it was quite mild going into the ground, but I came out like I just wrestled the polar bear, to be fair.
It was the wind and then the rain at full time.
Yeah, well, I was walking back to the car, and I was joined by just about a tribe of penguins. It was so bloody cold. It was incredible. Southampton got tramped yesterday. Indeed, they did. Brian's in the house. I'm fine, thanks, Julie. Hope you're the same. Brian had a lovely tweed hat on yesterday, which I was
very distinguished.
But I was quite surprised when I tried it on. Everybody says, "Oh, you suit that."
Your head was a bit big.
Yeah, we'll move on. Andrew says Shelvey was gassed early on. Watch him get nutmegged in his expression and recovery. I think it's time to rest him. He may do. But listen, it is now time of the night on this show where we do the player ratings for yesterday. Now, Danny, you will start us off with Mr. Dubravka.
I'm going to give him an 8.
An 8?
I'm going to give him an 8. I think he did okay. I think there was, the goal was a mistake, and he came out and probably should have done something a bit differently. But how are you going to get that with goalkeepers? I didn't think he had a lot to do apart from that. I really didn't. So I don't want to be too harsh on him. I think 8's okay.
Okay, that's fine. Emil Krafth, I'm going with a 5. I wasn't particularly impressed. Middle of the road for me. Possibly a 6, but I'm going with a 5. He got caught out a couple of times, which could have given goals away. Don't come at me. It's my opinion. If you think he played well, fair enough. I'm not going to sort of pull you for that or anything.
Michael Marston will have your life for that.
Well, apparently so. But listen, I'm going with a 5. Left back was Matt Target, and he is your choice, Mr. Alex.
Yeah, so nobody's really talking about Target for this match, but he did have Lamptey to track for most of that, and also Gross, who was their highest rated player, was also terrifying on that side. They were Target did a good job. Very underrated, undernoticed. He didn't have an easy job there. To try and hold your line against Lamptey. Lamptey's he was the quickest player in the league last year, wasn't he?
Yeah.
So well done, Matt Target. I'd give him a 7, to be fair, because he was defensively. We weren't getting smashed down his side, and he's a massive part of that. So yeah, he gets a 7. He did really well.
Cool. Right, Dan, back to you. We will go with Fabian Schar.
I think he played really well. I'd give him
Just take a breath.
I want to give him an 8.5 because I want to give him a 9.
Danielle, you know the rules.
I'm committing. I'm giving him a 9.
Wow.
I really like him. I know
you really like him, but you have to be based on performance.
Well, I thought he was great. I don't care about what anyone else thinks. I just think he was great.
Fair enough. That's fair enough.
Do you know what? He always commits, and his effort's great. He scored a goal. What more do you want?
I mean, Alex, you've got that kind of weird-looking grin on your face underneath that beard of yours. I mean, are you agreeing with that, or what do you think?
I mean, I agree with everything she said. I just feel like the criteria for everything she said for me is an 8, not a 9. But I do agree with everything she said.
That's why I wanted to give him 8.5 for, I'm not allowed.
Yeah, no, I get it.
I'm not allowed. Listen, I'm not.
You give him a 9, Daniel.
I'm going to mark anyone up if I can't give a half.
Oh dear God Almighty! Okay, that's fine. I'll go with Dan Burn. I think it was a steady 8 again. A steady 8. I mean, Jesus Christ, when do we ever say that? Look, he's just so reliable. He did make a couple of bad passes in the second half, which went straight to Brighton players. But I think every single player did that when they were trying to clear it. But look, I'm perfectly fine with giving him an 8 yesterday. I think he was very reliable. Again, there wasn't any time that I thought Dan Burn getting the ball or heading the ball put us under any risk. It just brings that comfort to you knowing that, Dan Burn's on the ball, everything's going to be okay, which is okay. Barbara says, hi, Paul Stato. Great to see Danielle back. Great win. It's the first time we have beaten Brighton in the Premier League. Toon Dave says, poor Danielle, Paul, not allowing her to give the half. Couldn't put that better myself, Danielle. Schar, definitely a 9.
Thanks, Sonia.
Fahid agrees with you, definitely a 9. Thanks. There you go. So, it's fine. It's fine. Right. Alex, John Joe.
I just wanted to say, Burn, you talk about passing. Yeah, you're right. 12 out of 20 passes for Burn. We got pressed so hard. The lads struggled with passes all day.
Move on.
Shelby. Shelby, I don't know. I really like Shelby. He's trying so hard, but he got outclassed yesterday. Maybe I need to go and watch the game again. I don't think he was gassed. I think he just wasn't good enough in terms of, I thought the players were better quality he was playing against, and he struggled.
Yeah.
Willock and Joelinton weren't as effective at shielding him as they've been recently, and he just really struggled. A few really good long passes, and he tried, and he got the armband on. I'll have to give him a 7. Okay. I can't give him any higher than that because he did get embarrassed a few times, but his work rate and he knows he needs to do better than that. Fair enough. Captain gets a 7. Well played.
Cool. Okay, Danielle, Joe Willock.
I'll give him a 7, I'll give him a 7. I think he was all right. He was good. I don't want to kind of badmouth him because I think he's done really well in his confidence and stuff. And when he was running down where I was just loving his work. So yeah, 7 for me. I don't think he was any better than Shelby.
He does give a kind of impression sometimes that he just doesn't care, doesn't he? The way he runs sometimes, it's very sort of
he's just
Chris
all in.
Waddle-esque, if you like.
Just kind of, isn't it?
Yeah. But you saw that photo after the game, and he's in the dress, with the squad, and he's absolutely buzzing. You know what I mean? He's absolutely buzzing. So yeah, I mean, listen. I've just seen a comment coming before saying that we have to embrace the fact that we won because, we would have ended up drawing or losing in the past. And I agree 100%. And that's why this show, I'm not being, I've said a few sort of things about players could have been better, but the whole point of this show is saying we got 3 points, and that's all that counts at this time of the season. And that's what we're delighted about. Facebook users should say it should be a Toon of Penguins because they play in black and white. Indeed. Fahad says Willock had an off day, no doubt. Hope he's back in the next game.
He will be.
You know what it is? It was just.
He got 5 tackles and interceptions.
Yeah, look, the effort was there as well.
Running game, could he?
Yeah,
we didn't have the ball.
The effort was there, and that's all that's all I really give a damn about. Right, Joelinton for me. I'm going with an 8. I think again, just a commanding midfield performance from Joelinton. Some of the way he was winning the ball back and then just spraying it out on right across the other side of the pitch. His determination, his passion, his anger, it's all there, and it's a complete all-round player there. So for me, another 8. I thought he just there was some times that he would lose the ball and he was getting up and then he was chasing it until he won it back. He wouldn't stop. And that's why there was a lot of fans in that stadium chanting his name yesterday, because of not just what he did with the ball, but what he did without it as well. And I think that was absolutely brilliant. Right. Alex, you get Jacob Murphy.
Oh, he's a funny one. He's a funny one.
I've never heard him tell a joke, to be honest.
He's again, it's going to have to be a flat 7, because he's one of those players that looks like he could be so much, and he's got that technical ability, he's got that zip. He's hit free kicks for us before. He's got little dinks in his game. He's not a bad player. He's got something about him. I
don't think he's a bad player at all. I think
want him to do it in the Prem. I want more from him, because I think he's got it. But again, he's one of those players that when he's got too much time on the ball, he doesn't know what he's doing. He was all right at covering right defensively, but tracking back defensively, sort of centrally, he just gets lost. He's not quite. He's just missing that little bit. But good player. He was one of the main reasons why we got 3 points, because of his great run. He held off Cucurella, he drove in. It was a great dink, to be fair. He was unfortunate.
You nearly said Cucaracha there, by the way. I'd just like to point that out. You nearly said Cucaracha.
I mean, in reality, he's hit the bar 4 times this season. So if he'd have scored some of them, we would be having completely different conversations about Murphy. So I feel like it's unfair to be harsh on him. I'll give him a 7. I'll give him a 7.
Yeah. Well, I like Coffee agrees with you. Jacob Murphy gets a 7. I think he played his best so far this season. He can definitely be better. I don't think he's played his best so far this season. Yeah, that's fine. I get what you said. Murphy would get slated if we drew that game 2-2, because he didn't pass the ball to a player in a better position. Mercedes says, looking at the table, the way it's now and the fixtures we all have coming from 14th, who's going down? Listen, to be honest, as long as it's Everton, I don't care. Onwards and upwards, my friends. Peter says, can't wait to see Alan Shearer's team of the week with Fraser and Fabian in it. Susan says, don't forget to subscribe if you're new to the channel. Indeed. Barbara says, I think against Southampton is the time to start Bruno and give Shelby a rest. That's fair enough. I'm going with Ryan Fraser, and he gets a 9 from me. In fact, no, he doesn't. Bugger it. He gets a 10.
Yes.
Because he scored. And I very rarely give 10s on player ratings, as people well know. But I'm going with a 10 for Ryan Fraser, because not only because of his performance yesterday, but his performance all around this season, the way he has turned himself around once again, another player who has changed completely under Eddie Howe. He has been magnificent. And yesterday, again, the effort, he was getting ripped, he was getting destroyed. Some of the tackles on him yesterday were horrendous, by the way. And he just gets on with it.
He got
kicked in the head. Yeah, I mean,
didn't get VAR checked. I don't know what happened there.
Unbelievable. But again, do we expect anything? I mean, had that been Shelby or someone doing that to an opposition player, there you go.
Straight to VAR, that would be.
Oh, God, old Dean. Mike Dean would have been doing helicopters and all sorts, man. It's time to send John Joe off again, yeah. But they didn't. Listen, a 10 for Ryan Fraser. And Alex, you get Chris Wood. Oh, no. Hang on. Danielle, I've missed you out, haven't I?
Oh, I thought I was going to swear that one. I didn't say it out.
No, go on, Danielle. You've got Chris Wood. I actually should have ended up with Chris Wood, but you do this week, so there you go.
Cheers for the pelters. Have I not had enough?
Welcome. You're welcome.
I'm going to say, you know what? I'm going to give him a 6.
Okay.
Right? Because, what did we give Krafth again? Was it a 5?
I may have given him a 5, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, less of the we, more of the Paul gave Krafth a 5.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Yeah, Paul.
In the trenches, Alex. In the trenches, son. Flaming hell.
Stop making us laugh.
Honestly.
No, I think he did give something to the game. I know he didn't score, but, you know.
He did pretty much set up the first goal.
Yeah, he did.
Playing,
and you know what? I really hope he does score. And why not on Thursday? Like, I'm still gonna back him.
I'm happy with his fitness. I really cannot stress that enough. Every game we've watched him so far, everybody keeps saying he's turning like the Titanic.
To be fair, Alex, you spoke about his fitness for at least 20 minutes tonight. I think we get the point.
But it's finally.
Have you had some sort of strange dream during the night about you and Chris Wood in a field of hay? Just skipping through the barley and all that kind of shit.
It's all these conversations recently. We keep praising Howe so much, but obviously people have got to understand that they're watching the same game as us, and they're going to see the same problems, and they're going to be saying to Wood, "Look, we need to get this working better." And I feel like we saw glimpses of things are being fixed, if that makes sense. So I'm not trying to overpraise him. I just want people to sort of maybe see, look, it looks like he's getting the message and he's improving in training. Maybe it looks like he's so hopefully he can push on from there. Maybe we can actually have a player. So fingers crossed.
John says, great chemistry between the three of you. And as a neutral, I'm really enjoying watching the banter. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that, John. I hope you got yourself subscribed. Matthew says, good through ball for the goal. Indeed, it was. Chris Wood gets a 6.10. Okay. I haven't heard that for a while. This is like watching a solar eclipse in live time. I have no idea what that means, Spencer, but fair enough. I thought the ref was shocking yesterday. He was poor. I didn't push her under the bus at all. I just thought that, Danielle would give a very sensible...
In the trenches, Paul. In the trenches. Sorry? In the trenches.
Yes, in the trenches. There you go. Billy says, Wood's best game for me, 6 out of 10. 6 for Wood.
Thanks, Billy.
Pedro says, fantastic show once again. I love this channel. Makes my day. Well done, everyone. Keep it up. Thanks, Pedro. Really appreciate that, matey. If the bale started rolling, Alex would get in the ditch before Wood. Okay, fair enough. Seeing Stato laugh is like watching a solo clips in live time. That's what I meant. Right, okay. Interesting. Obviously known by the viewers as a very, very serious man. Especially, when you come out with your one shall do this and one shall do that and one will be king one day.
I love
one shall rule the country.
Wow, there's no one. It'll be Joelinton.
Yeah. Right, now we all have to come to an agreement on the manager, Mr. Edward Howe. You wouldn't believe how many messages I'm still getting about, Don Howe and Eddie Howe. It is bizarre. And I still don't know. People saying yes, people saying no, people saying all sorts of things, to be honest. And I really don't know. I think he actually was, but let's move on. Eddie Howe, right, Alex, what would you score Eddie for yesterday?
That's an interesting one. I mean, he didn't do anything outstanding. He stuck to his guns, same formation. I'm going to stick by what I've said recently. His substitutions always feel 3, 4, 5 minutes late for me. But
I agree 100%.
He's the boss and he's winning. Yeah. So who am I to say that? It just scares me as a fan. I just feel like, it's always that when we start, there's been certain games we've lost that midfield energy and everybody sort of looks at Bruno and like, should we, shouldn't we? Is it time yet? I don't know. I don't know. I'm just going to trust him though, because he keeps making the right calls. So fair enough. I'm going to give him an 8 because Potter was a tough cookie yesterday. That was a tough match. So yeah, well done, Howe, for sticking to his guns. Yeah. I'm very proud he didn't drop the formation either, because I like I said earlier, I feel like a lot of people would have dropped to a back 5 in that game, and he didn't. He was like, sod it, back 4 till the 90th. We're going to see this out. So fair enough.
Okay. Abs is very disappointed not to see Stato's amazing graphics tonight.
I mean, I do have one, but there's not really much to show. It's just how Brighton had a different formation than we predicted.
We will have Alex's amazing stats back on Wednesday night for the preview. So he will have them, Abs. Don't you worry. It is official that Eddie is his father's son. I completely agree with that comment. That is 100% correct.
Classic.
Barbara says an 8 for Howe. He left it too long for the subs. 8 out of 10. I like our approach, but he tends to leave subs a bit too late. That's the kind of thing that's coming through here, is delayed substitutions again. Danielle, what would you go for?
Well, I don't think you should ask me, because I don't really give sensible answers when it comes to Eddie Howe. In my in my heart, he's just like 10 because I just think he's class. But yeah, no, I take your points. I do take your points. I'd say on a serious level, 8.
8 as well. Well, I'm going to give him a 7 because I think he. Listen, I love Eddie Howe. Absolutely love him, right? But I just think the substitutions yesterday, I think given the way the second half was going, I think he should have changed it a bit earlier because I think had he changed it a bit earlier, we may not have conceded a goal. But that's just my opinion. But listen, the rest of it, he did, hats off to him keeping the same side. Didn't buckle when the big names are coming back. He goes with what he believes, and good on him for doing that. So, but because you two have given him an 8, we give Eddie Howe an 8 on the law of averages. And the Newcastle United fans, 10 as usual. Max says, best club, best supporters, best channel. And we're loaded. I can't wait until next season. 10 out of 10 says for Eddie Howe. Chris Wood a 6 says Bruce. 10 for Howe says Chloe. 8 out of 10. Chloe says we won. Indeed, we did, Chloe. Eddie Howe's dad was called Donald Howe. He was an English football manager, coach, pundit, says Sonia. Okay. I don't know if I really care
I do
anymore.
have one criticism, Paul, about the team yesterday, which is it's not something I ever really noticed, but Joelinton was the only player to get booked for us yesterday. And I'm not advocating fouling or hurting people, but I feel like a few yellow cards, which everybody does. City are very famous for this.
I love the way you say I'm not advocating, hurting anybody, but to get a yellow card, you pretty much have to do somebody in.
I do feel like we could have taken some fouls and yellows there to try and stop the bombardment a little bit when it got a bit stressed. And we have done that in recent weeks, but for some reason we just didn't do it against Brighton. Joelinton was the only one to do it. Yeah. I don't know, just a weird observation. I thought it was a bit strange because we've been doing that quite consistently. So just a different thing, I guess.
Fair enough. But listen, that is the end of the reaction show. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight. There is a big week ahead, of course, because we've got bloody hell. We've got the Four Horsemen tomorrow night. There may well be a video from me tomorrow at some point with some latest news. Tuesday night, we got the fan forum again. Could be some news. It's Newcastle United at the end of the day. Wednesday night, we've got the preview for the Southampton game. Southampton on Thursday night, live commentary on the Toon Review YouTube channel on Thursday night. Friday night, we'll have to do a preview for the Chelsea. Is it Chelsea at the weekend?
It is.
Yeah.
Sunday.
So Friday night, we'll have to do another preview show for the Chelsea game. Then the Chelsea game will be live commentary on this very channel as well. Then we go to Everton the Thursday. There's loads of shows coming up, guys. Absolutely loads. We are going to be very busy. Danielle won't be with us for the fan forum because she's got to be a very early bird for work on Wednesday morning. So she gets a night off. But me and the posh bearded one will be back for the fan forum. Tomorrow night, the Four Horsemen will, of course, be on World of Sport TV. You do not want to miss that because it's been a month since I've been on that show, and I have a collection for Sinclair. An absolute
steam to let off.
Oh, yes. So that should be a good laugh as well. Fan forum will be great as well. But keep the support up, guys. Thank you very much for everybody that's joined the Facebook group as well. Nearly 700 members on there already. It's been staggering. So if you are on Facebook, search up the Toon Review group page and click to join. Me or one of the mods will click OK. It's a brilliant group where you can talk about Newcastle without any risk of any abuse or, somebody disagrees with you. You know what? You talk about it like an adult. So there you go. So it's a nice, safe environment for everyone to talk about Newcastle. Get yourself on there. Instagram as well. The Toon Review is posting on there again. So get yourself on if you're on Instagram, search up the Toon Review and get joined on there. But thank you very much for watching the show. If you have enjoyed it, please do hit the like button. It does help with all the crazy YouTube algorithms. And also if you can consider subscribing, that would be absolutely fantastic. You can absolutely join the channel as well. Hit the join button just underneath the video or the link is in the description. Thank you to all the super chats tonight. It has been incredible again. You guys just blow my mind with that. Thank you again to Geordie Riffs, the sponsor of the channel. premium guitar lessons for beginners and children, guitar repairs and servicing, in which they will give you 10% off your first one. And they do have a recording studio as well. And they will offer you your first guitar lesson free of charge if you mention the Toon Review. They are available at geordieriffs.co.uk, Instagram at geordieriffs, and Facebook at geordieriffsofficial. Thank you very much to those guys as well. Right, guys, thank you very much for coming on tonight, Danielle and Alex. Thank you once again to my amazing mods behind the scenes who are just superb. And we will see you all again on this channel on Tuesday night. Look out for a video possibly tomorrow. And if not, I'll see you on the Four Horsemen tomorrow night. Thanks, guys. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday night. Take care.